Hi, welcome back to my second live stream in this series of .NET MAUI live streams. Last week I started to build an app, a .NET MAUI app, and it was a news app. We fetched some news from a data source I created in Azure Blob Storage. If you missed that live stream, you can go and watch it on my YouTube channel later. But today I will continue to build on that app. And if you have questions during the time I'm streaming, building, please write them in the chat and I will do my best to answer them. Last time I maybe missed a few questions, but I have changed my streaming platform to this week. Last week I used StreamYard that often are very good, but it seems like it did not pick up the chat last week. But today I will have the web browser open in YouTube and I can see your questions and comments there. So feel free to write in the chat and I will do my best to discuss things with you. Okay, so let's open Visual Studio. Instead of seeing me in full screen, I will be just a small little person in the right corner instead. So, okay, I will go and open the browser so I can see the chat. Okay, so now I'm ready. So here is the app that we built last week. We have a collection view of news, Formula 1 news, that you can see here, and we can navigate here and see more about it. But the problem here was that we have some HTML in here. So we want to go and fix that as the first thing we do today. So that is pretty easy. So we go here to the label in the news item view. And the only thing we need to do is to set type. Here I don't, text type is to HTML and then it will work. Let's see if hot reload also worked. No, it doesn't, but it was maybe 50 minutes since I started the app. So, and the hot reload is still pretty unstable on Mac. I know it works better on Windows. But they have promised that it will be better in coming releases, so I really hope so. So, okay, here is the app again. And now we have HTML here instead. So it looks much better. So my idea for today's stream is that we should add a tab bar here and add another page where we can have our favorites. So if we have this news, we can go here, for example, we can click a button, add a favorites or bookmark or whatever we want to call it. And then it will show up in the other tab. Okay, so let's first go and create the tab bar. So to do that, we will go to the app shell that we have here. And it's created by default, but we did some changes to it last week. So the first thing we will do here is add a tab bar. And we will add the shell content inside of it. Let's see if I can copy only the last part there and paste it there. Okay, so we will add a tab bar like this, and then we will have another shell content. So we will go and create that page. We can call it bookmarks. So create a new file, .NET MAUI content page, and we call it bookmark view, just like that. Great. And if you watched the last stream, you can see that we used tiny MVVM, and then we need to change the base class. So we do that first in the code behind. We can just remove it because we don't need to specify it in both the SAML view and the code behind view. Then we can go here to main view and we can copy this to namespace imports. And we add them here. Then we change content view to MVM tiny view, and this is necessary if we want all features in TinyMVM to work. Just like that. I don't really know why everything is red. Maybe because we have the debugger active. And we will go and create a view model, new class, bookmark view model. And here we had this class view model that we use for base view model for all our view models. And this base view model also have a base view model, and that is a tiny view model from TinyMVM. Okay, so let's go and add view model as the base here. And while we're using community toolkit.mvvm and the source generation, we also want to make this partial to have it ready for that, but we will go to the bookmark view again, and then we will add this view model here, so the bindings that we will create later will be compiled. So set x colon data type is from the VM namespace that we imported here, bookmark view model, and now all the bindings in this view model will be compiled. Okay, so now we can go back to the shell file and we can add another tab, and we just do that by adding shell content again. We will change the bookmark view. Of course, we will change the title to bookmarks. We can change this to news instead of home. We'll give this a root so we can navigate to it if we want to do that by code. So let's see if we created a tab bar here or not. Hopefully it worked on the first attempt. Okay, my audio is really low. Okay, so trying to increase it a bit is better now. Hopefully you will not hear that much noise when I increase the gain. Okay, so here we have a tab bar. We don't have any icons here because we have not added any icons yet, but we will do that later. But now we can navigate between those tabs. Pretty easy. Okay, so now we can go to the news item view model. No, we should not do it here. We should do it in no, sorry, we should do it here. We should create a command for a button to add this to bookmarks. And we also need to store this data somewhere, but we can start to do that in the memory. And then we can add persist storage later. But we create a bookmark service. We need an interface. bookmark service, and we need a save method. Save news item, and we need a get method. So task list of news item. Call it just get, like get all maybe. So now we go and create an implementation. Add new class. Bookmark service. bookmark service. Implement the methods. We change this to file scope namespace. I really hope that they will do that by default soon, because I think it's so much nicer to have it like that. And then we don't need this using system, because if you watch the latest stream or the recording of it, we have global usings here in the MAUI program file. Not in the class, because they are outside of the class, but I was close to say in the MAUI program class, but it's in the file because they are outside of the class. Okay. Okay, just do a static property or field here we can use for now, then we can persist it later in this stream or in upcoming streams, depending on how much time we have for that today. So we can give it a default value of an empty list also, so we don't have to care about that. So return items, task dot from result. We could add an async keyword here also, but I think it's better to add from result here, and we need to do that when we don't have any await inside of it, but we should have task here anyway, because then we prepare to make an async method later. And this save method will just do items.add news item, and then we do return task.completed task instead, because we need to return something when we don't have the async keyword. But if we add the async keyword, we will get a warning that we don't have any await inside of the method. Okay, so now we can go back here to the news item view model, and we can inject this news, not the news service, the bookmark service into the view model. And we add it in a read only field. That was here of some reasons. I prefer to have those above the constructor. And now we also need to go to MAUI program and add them to the dependency injection container. So let's copy this one. Bookmark service, and should implement, we should resolve the bookmark service. Okay, now we can go back to the news item model, and we can create a new property. And while I'm using source generation, we do that just by creating a field. So private command add bookmark, and to make it generate a property, we add this attribute observable property to it. So, and now we need a method. So private void add bookmark. We cannot use that because I already done that, but okay, let's say save bookmark can be run when we hit that button, and it should be a private task save bookmark like that. And now we go to the constructor and we add bookmark, a default value that is new async relay command. Async relay command is also from the community toolkit, and I think it's really nice thing to use. Save bookmark, and just pass that method there. Okay, now we're done with the command part. Now we need to add the actual code here to save it, and that will not be that much of code. It just will be bookmark service dot save item like this, and we can have await here, of course, and we should have await, and then we need to make the method async just like that. And I also recommend you to add a try catch statement around this, because otherwise, if we got an exception inside of this method that runs in a command, it will crash the app. So we do that. Try catch, and right now we will not do anything, but we can prepare a bit, and we can create a method in this base class to handle these exceptions. Then we can use that in the view models, but then when we have a real exception handling, we can add that code just to one place. So protected protected task handle exception, take exception, eggs, no code return, but we can do like this, then return task.completed task. Okay, now we have prepared to handle exception in a later state. So we go back to this news item model and we do await handle exception, past exception there. We can copy this and we can do that also in the main view model, because I think we have some catch statement. Yes, here we wrote a todo last time, so we add that there too, and then we are done in the view model. We don't need to write any more code here. We do that in the base class later instead. Yeah, we will also have try catch here of the same reasons, because this is also used in a command. So let's add that when we already are here. To prepare that, so we should always have a try catch so we don't crash the app. It's better to have a error message or something like that than having the app crashing. Use item view model, save bookmark. So maybe we want to show some information here about that the bookmark has been saved. Then we can use some stuff from the community toolkit maybe to show some toasts. But then we need to go and install that NuGet package. Manage NuGet packages, and if you want to know more about different type of alerts, I have a video for that that you find on my channel. So let's search for community toolkit.maui, I think it's the name. Yeah, here it is. Add package. And we accept the license. Yeah, let's see if we should do something. Yeah, we should go and add use community toolkit. So maybe copy this using, and we go to Maui program. We add that as a global using, so we don't need to import that namespace on other places, and then we can do like this, use community toolkit. Okay, now we're done with initializing that. Now we can go and use it for a real bookmark view model news item. So then we can do toast dot make. Maybe we should move this also to the global import of namespaces, so we don't have to do that again next time. Global. We can have all this community toolkit namespaces together, and we can have the system namespaces together. I think that is nicer to have it like that. Then we can have tiny mvm there, and then we can have the app namespaces also together. Yeah, I prefer to have them a bit sorted at least. So let's go back here to the news item view model and see what we are doing. Toast.make, and then we need a message. So bookmark saved. And toast.make returns an iToast. So we need to add that to a variable, and then we can do toast.show to show it to the users. Then we can have a cancellation token here if we want to, but we don't need that. Wait. Just like that. Okay, let's see if this works. So we restart the app. Then we take some coffee when we're waiting. Yeah, sometimes it takes a bit longer to build the app. Often it takes a long time the first time, then the second, third and fourth time is pretty fast, but right now it seems to take a long time. Again, it maybe depends on how much changes you have done since last time you built the app. Yeah, right now it seems to be very slow to build it. Usually I use to build it for Mac because I think that is the fastest way to deploy the app. iOS Simulator is also pretty fast, except for the first time. Yeah, and yeah, the Android is, it just starts to be okay also, but before it was very slow. But we will run this app during the stream on iOS and Android also, so you can see how it looks there. But right now we need to wait for it to build for Mac. So, yeah. So strange that it is so slow now. Last time we started it was pretty fast, but now it seems to start the app. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. We have the bookmarks tabs here, but we don't have anything there yet. Why do we start it? We have not added any. I have not added a button yet to that are bind to this command. So yeah, let's go and do that first. Then we will be able to test it. So we go to this vertical stack layout, and we add just a button in the end after the published date. So text, add to bookmarks, command, binding. Let's see what we named that. Add bookmark. Yeah, that was easy. Should have remembered that. Add bookmark. And now when we don't change the value of the command, we can use a one-time binding. So we don't need the button to listen for changes. That can be good for the performance if you do this for many bindings at least. One single binding maybe not affect that much, but I prefer to use one-time bindings when it's possible. So now we can see if the code works, and we can go and set a breakpoint here in the save bookmark method to see that we hit it. And hopefully it will build the app faster this time. Yeah, it seems to do that. So yeah, here it is. I can take the first news. Here we have the button, add the bookmarks, and it hit the method that we are using in the command. We can do like that, and now we need to go back to the app fast to be able to see the toast. We did not, so we take another news, and we we need to remove the breakpoint first, otherwise we will not have a chance to see the toast. So add bookmarks. Here we have bookmarks saved. Okay, so now we need to go to the bookmarks tab, and we need to fetch them. And to do that, we need a collection view, and we need to get the data. So we start to go to the view model and create a property that we can bind to a collection view. So, okay, so bookmark view model. Here we also need iBookmark service, inject it into the constructor, assign it to a field, and this field can be read only because we will not do any changes to this field. And we are using TinyMVM, and with TinyMVM you have the ability to do some overrides. You can override initialize and to do some initialization of this view model, and you can also override on appearing if you want it to run every time this appears. So we will do on initialize first, and then I think we should add some code to notify this view when changes are happened instead, because we don't want to load data every time we go to the tab if there are no new data to load. So we add await there, and sometimes these async keywords are added by the ID. If you watch this stream from the beginning, it did not do that last time we added a await keyword, but now it did, and that is nice. Okay, and now we need a property, so we create a new field, observable collection of news item, and we call this bookmarks. No, not uppercase, bookmarks. And then we add attribute, so it will create the property for us. Observable property. Like that, and var result is bookmark service dot get all. We need await here too, await, and bookmarks. And now we can see that we have this property called bookmarks, and the P here is indicating that it is a property, and that is generated by the source generation in the community toolkit.mvvm that we are using, and by using this attribute we make that happen. So bookmarks is new observable collection of news item, and we pass the result list into it. And I also prefer to have a default value there to avoid some null exceptions. Okay, we should also have try catch here and handle the error or handle the exception and pass it to the base class, so we can handle it later when we implement some logic in that method. And if we also want to have an activity indicator here, we can set is busy to true, and then we set not in the catch, after the try catch statement we set is busy to false. We could also have this in a final statement, but I don't think that is necessary. If something happened here that crashes the app and it's not catch here and it will not reach is busy, we don't care. Then we have a bigger problem than that is busy not is set to false. So yeah, we can have it after here. Okay, now we are ready to go and write the UI for this bookmark view. So we go to news item view. No, not news item view. We go to bookmark view, of course, because it's there that we should work. So we remove this vertical stack layout that are default when you create a new view, and we add a grid, because a grid can have multiple childs, and we need that when we have an activity indicator. So first we create an activity indicator is running, and we bind that to is busy. I don't know why that not show up in the IntelliSense, but we have that property from the base view model, and we want that to be in the middle of the view, so we set vertical options. Oops, there we had some problem with the hot reload, so we close the debugger, and then we can work without being disturbed. So vertical options is center, horizontal options is center, and then we create a collection view, and is visible, and this should be visible when is busy is false. So we will use the is not busy property that is updating by setting is busy to true or false. It will be the opposite value of is busy. So then we need an item source, and that will be the property in the view model, and that is bookmarks. So, and then we need a template to decide how each item should look. So we set collection view.item template and data template, and to make those bindings in the data types also compiled, we need to set data type also for the data templates. So we need to import that namespace models CLR name space and models news app dot models. Here we have it, and then we do models dot news and not the dot colon news item, like that. And my idea here is that we will only show the title and the date. So we do a grid like this, and we add a label. And here we can, if we want, do some column definitions, but we can also set horizontal options to start and end. The problem is that if we have a long title, it can be over the publish date. So let's go and create some column definitions to be sure that we don't have too long titles. So, and star means the rest of the available area, and maybe we need 100 pixels for the date. So label text is equal to binding. Then we have title there, and here we also can use one-time binding, because this will not change inside of this data template. If we have updates to bookmarks, new bookmarks is added, for example, that is the item source and the bookmarks property that changed. This title property will not change, so then we can have a one-time binding. Font size can be header, and these are predefined values from .NET MAUI that you can use if you want to, but you can also set absolute values here if you prefer that. Then we need another label for the publish date, and we can use the body font size there to see how that looks. And now we don't have any padding on the page, but we can add some padding for the grid like that. Okay, let's run and see how it will look. Then we can improve the look of the view after that. Okay, it started pretty fast. And now we need to go and add some bookmarks, because we did not persist them. So we need to do that every time we start up. Yeah, okay. Of course, this will not work because we load them on initialize. Okay, but let's go and notify the bookmark view when something happens. And there are different ways you can do that. You can do events, or you can do in-app messaging. And we will have support for that in communitytoolkit.mvm that are imported here by tinymvm. But I have never done that, so we need to go and read the documentation for that. So community toolkit mvm. But I know that, I think it's James Montemagno that did a video about this, that you can go and watch if you want to know more about this. So Messenger here, sending and receiving messages. Very much text to read. Otherwise, in my app, I used to use my colleague's framework called well, not TinyMVM, Tiny Pub Sub. So you can use that here too. Tiny Pub Sub. I think this is really nice because it's a small package and it's really simple to use. So let's use this instead. Yeah, it's still working with adding it. But we can go here and prepare a global using tiny. No, I don't know why it's so slow sometimes to install NuGet packages, because this is a really small package. So I don't know what takes time here. Okay, maybe to check all the licenses. Okay, we accept them. I guess it's because all those .NET namespaces are not available in .NET Standard 1.1. I think TinyMVM are using right now, but I have added a pull request, so it will also support .NET 6. So when that one have been approved and released, we will not get all those dependencies there. Tiny pub sublib, yes, and we go to here and we make tiny. No, we should not have it in the view model. We can add it to the service instead, so we don't need to have that code multiple times. So tiny pub sub dot publish, and we add a channel. We call that one bookmark added, just like that. And we can see what we have for options here. An instance. No, we don't need that. We just need to publish bookmark added like that. Yeah, and then we can go to the bookmark view model and we can subscribe to that event. And Tiny PubSub are using weak events, so we don't have to care about subscribing to them. So tiny pubsub dot subscribe bookmark added. We should add this in a constant instead, but yeah, don't do that right now. So we need an action, pass an action there. We need a method for loading data, private async task load data, and then we copy this one here and we call await load data, so we don't need to have this code written twice. So here we do like this. Load data. Okay, hopefully it will work better now. Set some breakpoints here to see what happened. Yeah, now it takes some more time to build the app again, and I guess that is because we added a new NuGet package. Yeah, and we did that last time. It took time too. We added the community toolkit MAUI. So that's the reason. When you have added new packages, it will take a bit longer time next time you will build the app. So if you have any questions to me, why I'm doing things, maybe I not explain it that good, just write a question in the chat and I will do my best to answer it and explain things in a better way. Yeah, it takes some time. Now I can hear the fan of my MacBook Pro M1. That's not every day I do that, but that's good. Then it's working hard by building this, and it also, I guess, because I have OBS running and live streaming, it will use a bit more CPU. Okay, now it's ready and starting the app. So let's see if it works. Okay, we go here, we press add bookmark, bookmark saved. Yeah, but it have not run initialize here, and I will show you why. It's because in app shell we did like this, content template, and then the bookmark view, and that means it will not create the page until we go and press the button. It will load it asynchronously. If we instead have done like this, we need to kill the app, otherwise we will have problem with hot reload. App shell. We can also do like this here, and we can say views. It's possible to do like this too. Here is the shell, yeah, but I prefer to do like this because then it will not load the tabs that the user not open. But I just realized we forgot something else. We never set binding context for this bookmark view. So we go here to the code behind, and then we inject the view model here, bookmark view model. We can add it to field because we maybe want to use it later, and then we set binding context is equal to bookmark view model. Okay, now I guess it will work better. It can at least not be worse. So now it built app pretty fast again. So we go here and we add the bookmarks. And then now we go to bookmarks view. No permit. When we're doing construction injection, we of course need to go and register it too. So we register the view model to the container, bookmarks view model, and we do the same with the view. Bookmarks view. Okay, now it hopefully will load the data for us. But we're getting there step by step. So here the app starting. Yeah, we add to bookmarks. We add bookmarks, and now we can go to bookmark view. Yeah, and here we hit the initialize method. And the load data method. Result count 2. Okay, we have 2 items in here now. Yeah, and we go open the app again. Yeah, here it is. It did not look good at all. So we need to go and fix that and see if maybe hot reload can help us here, if we are lucky. So, yep, label text, they are in the same column. That is a problem. So, yep, we need to set grid.column is 1 there. Yep, hot reload worked. So we have the date here instead. Okay, so maybe we want to have a frame here, so we have a more consistent look compared to this. So we can do that. Frame. move the grid inside of it. Just like that, and now it seems to be a problem with hot reload. Then we can go also add some padding to the page. Let's say 10 there too. Yeah, that updated by hot reload. Strange. Maybe we want to have some margin here. Let's see if that works. We have some margin in the bottom. No, it's not updated by hot reloads. Okay, so let's restart the app and see if it works better then. I can minimize those. Yeah. Okay, here the app is. We add some bookmarks. Got the bookmark view. We don't need the breakpoint there because now we know that this works. Okay, yeah, it looks like this. Seems like margin here on the frame did not work very well. But we can fix that too. We wrap it in a content view. And we use padding instead. Padding. We format the code or the SAML a bit later. Okay, now it looks pretty good, but yeah, it will be pretty long text here, but that is fine, I think. But we can also, if we want to, go and set line break mode to tail truncation, and then it will be like this instead. Now we have a comment: are we expected to see the app running in the video? Yes, of course we will be able to see the app running. We have it here on macOS. We can also run it on iOS and Android soon. Okay, but if you want to have some more space between those columns, we can easily add that here too by, say, column spacing is 20. Okay, but let's run this on iOS and Mac too to see how it looks there. Now we have seen it on Mac. So we use iPhone 13 simulator, and hopefully it will load pretty fast. Yeah, take some time now to start the simulator. Invalid source, but sometimes we get some errors in Visual Studio for Mac that are just IntelliSense errors. I don't know why they show up, because it will build anyway. Yeah. So right now we're waiting for the debugger to connect to the iOS simulator, so hopefully it will start soon. Could not load the framework Xcode. One problem is that I updated Xcode just before this stream, or I did not do that by intention. It updated itself. So okay, but we take Android instead, because I already have the Android simulator started. So hopefully it will go pretty fast to start the app on it too. Oops, what happened now? Here the Android emulator is, and hopefully you can see it, and you will soon see the app starting here too, because right now it's deploying the app to the device. So hopefully you will see the app here now. At least I can see it in the preview, so I hope that you see it too. Also, looks like we have some work to do in light mode here, but we can improve that later. Bookmarks, but I don't have any bookmarks. But I see one problem here. The tap and gesture thing are not working on Android. Let's see if we can fix that. So we go back to main menu and see where did we add the tap gesture recognizer. We add that to the content view. Sometimes we can have problem with gesture recognizers when we don't have any background color. So we just try to set it to white. If this not work, we can move the gesture recognizer. Maybe we need to redeploy the app. I really hope that they fix hot reload to work better on Mac 2 in release coming soon. It works from time to time, but not every time. And I want it to work as good as it did with Xamarin Forms. Okay, it will not work. So let's try to move the gesture recognizer. We can move it to the frame instead. Then we can remove background color there. Then we cut this and we copy it in, the frame ended there. So, and then we cannot have content view here, we need to change the frame. Okay. And here we can see that things work a little bit different between the platforms. It worked on the Mac app, but not on the Android app. Yeah, now it works when we added the gesture recognizer to the frame instead. And hopefully it will work on Mac too. We will look at that soon. And here you can see the toast look like this on Android. And here we have the bookmark in here. So let's go and try and see if it works on Mac too when we changed the gesture recognizer. If the case, it will be better to have it on the frame. So it built pretty fast now, and it will start the app now for us. Here it is. And it works. Okay, let's have it on the frame. So maybe we should fix this with a background color to have it look more nicer even in light mode. It's just this light background color. If we do make it a little bit lighter, it will look better. But maybe we can go and fix this bookmark view to be more similar to the news list instead. Oops, why did I press twice there? Because we don't have any check that if it's added already or not. Okay, but we have it here. So let's go and make this look like the other list. So we can move this color declarations from main view. We can save this if we want to add some stuff later. So we go into this resources folder and styles, and here we have colors, and we also have a lot of predefined stuff that are added by the template, but we add our own. We can add them in the end. Dark background, light background color, and then we can go to main view, and we can copy this app theme binding stuff. Like that, and then we go to the bookmark view and set background color on the frame here. And app theme binding is, I think it's really powerful way and easy way to handle both the dark and light mode, because the only thing you need to do is like say app theme binding, and dark use this static resource, light use this static resource. So that is pretty nice. Okay, let's see how it will look now. So we redeploy the app to the Android emulator. I wonder what we need to do to make iOS work again. Maybe they need to update Visual Studio, or at least they need the workload for .NET MAUI. So we add bookmark here. Just like that. Yep. And now we have that similar look here. So maybe we can add some navigation here, so we can navigate to the full news even from the bookmark view. And we can also change this title, of course. It will not look nice when it's a bookmark view and on top here. So just bookmarks and see if hot reload works. Yes, it did this time. So what we need to do then is that we need a new command so we can navigate to this news item view. So we go to the view model, news item view model, and we can main view model, and we can reuse the stuff from here. Bookmark view, we can add this to the base view model also, but I think we should keep them separate because we maybe want to do changes in one of them later, and then it's not good to reuse the stuff. And we take this field also, like that, and we go to the constructor, then we do open is new. Let's see if this was async. Yes, it was async relay command, and then we pass this open view method there. Yes, and that everything we need to do in the view model. Then we can go to the bookmark view, and we give the collection view a name so we can access it when we create the binding. So let's call it list. Then we can do frame dot gesture recognizers, and we create a tab gesture recognizer, and command binding source. Now we want to go back to the data binding level that we have on the collection view. So we do x:\reference list as the name of the collection view. Then we set path is binding context dot open, because open is the name of the property. Just like that. Then we close the command property, and we add a command parameter that will be this item. So we just write binding like that. Okay, now we can try if this works. So we restart the app. So here we go add bookmark, go to bookmarks view and tap the bookmark, and we navigate to the item. Now if you go back, of course we are in the bookmarks view because it remembers the history for us. So if you want to take a look at this code, you can find it on GitHub, because I push all my code there for this demo. I can go and show you where you find it. So go to github.com, then we can search for de Hindrik like that, and here you find me, but not that repository. The repository is called Livestream News App. So here the code is, and the last thing we should do for this demo, I think, is to push the changes so you know that it are there already now. So yes, check what files we have, look okay to add all. Git commit dash message and changes from stream number 2. And let's push it. Git pull. Okay, some problem there. I will fix that after the stream, probably because I added the README directly on the GitHub UI, but you don't need to watch me fixing that. So thank you very much for watching this stream. I will definitely do more streams in the future. I cannot promise to do them every week, but at least I will try to add some .NET MAUI videos every week. But follow me on Twitter, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you will be notified when I add stuff. But in upcoming live streams, we will continue with this app, or we will build some other apps also in the future. But I think we have more work to do on this app before we can close this project. So really looking forward to next streams, and yeah, see you then. Thank you for watching.